Hello again. It's been way too long, lonely long time. Been sidelined trying to finish up an album, and of course the day job doing audio stuff, and also taking a little class with Max for Live, the recent tutorials that Ableton released. Couldn't recommend those more, but I've got a few new Max patches that I've been messing around with that I want to bust out. One is just the audio effects from the Muse Concrete tool. So we've got a volume section, we've got the delay, the filter, we've got our 4 LFOs, we've got the reverb that the whole thing runs through, peak limiter, and then an output recorder. So there's a few options there to play with, and also this Weirderizer 1, which is something that I just started mucking about with through the new Ableton Live Max tutorials. Building with Max, I believe is what it's called. Let's look here. Yeah, Building Max Devices. This is a really good tutorial, and even if you know a lot, I personally have been learning a ton from it, so I think there's a lot of great stuff. I don't know a whole lot about the Max API, so this is partly my excuse to try to get in there and learn some more stuff about that. So, but today we're going to focus on these effects here. Let's just make some quick notes and run those through the effects here. Okay, immediately the Weirderizer 1, I'll just make a rundown of it real quick. We've got all these different sections, basically 6 different sections. We've got a real chintzy reverb in section 6. 5 is a basic filter. 3 and 4, we have this kind of grainy, inline, sort of grained delay-ish kind of thing. We've got a wet and dry up here. Of course, we can dial it down a little bit. 2 is another filter. If we hit this button, we've got an auto sort of smooth randomization. This is kind of like a gritty sort of cuts up the volume a little bit. Kind of like a nasty tremolo, basically, random type of tremolo. The Muse Concrete effects, everything that you are familiar with in the Muse Concrete tool. We've got the volume here. We've got 2 sections, 2 filters here. I'm going to real quick select these and add some probability so we don't have the playing so constant. And of course we can automate all of these. The fun thing about the Weirderizer 1 that I really love is this button randomizes all the major parameters. Also in section 6, we can turn this on, and every 5 seconds here, it will start randomizing things, which can be useful for just general craziness. Let's add some LFOs to this. We've got volume here, and maybe I'll drag this and move it. Slow that LFO down a little bit. Let's add this LFO on the delay here, which in my opinion creates a little bit of a grainy effect. And let's bump up the volume on that. Cool. So this is, real quick, you can see we're already getting some somewhat interesting results. Now, one thing I want to play with is an effect that I've been absolutely in love with lately. It's free. There's 2 effects here. One is KV Element. It is also free, and it's a modular environment for your plugins inside of whatever DAW you're using. Let's bust out not plug data, although an amazing plugin. I want to bust out the Neural Amp Modeler by Steve Atkinson, an amazing freebie. It rivals Kemper, Tone X, those other types. If you've ever messed around with distortion or saturation type plugins, you'll know that it's very difficult with algorithms to achieve something that sounds very real. But this does like a neural modeling of various tone stacks and pedals, and I think that they sound really excellent. So let's let's just bust out this one here. And let me turn up the CPU on this laptop. There we go. Now we've got more headroom to play with juice-wise. So one thing I really love to do with this plugin, Neural Amp Modeler, is it's mostly used for, you know, playing guitar, high gain type of situations. I love to run low gain through it and then boost the other side here. Let me close some of these down so you can see that. And as far as getting sort of a lo-fi or a nice tone for a free plugin, this thing is quite amazing. And if you go to tonehunt.org, I'll put a link in the description, there are thousands of profiles that people have made with their hardware where they've created these neural amp models. And I think that this can add a nice warmth really easily, really quickly to whatever you send through it. It helps to put some effects after it. Let's bust out well, not the hybrid reverb. Let's go with the supermassive here. I really love this plugin, as you know. We could also put another iteration of the Muse Concrete Tool effects. There's a really nice reverb in that as well. And let's play around with the volume on that. Slow this down. Add a little smoothing there. And let's get some delay going. And we've got this recorder here, so we could easily record files, you know, of a live performance that we want to do. Of course, we can resample things in Ableton. Let's try playing with some of these. So covering a lot of ground with this one, but it's been a few weeks since I've done any of these sketches, so I think we're due for it. Yeah, again, Neural Amp Modeler. It's free. It runs really great inside of Element. I love Element because you can run different plugin types like VST3 inside of this. I believe this also works inside of DAWs like Pro Tools. So with KV Element, you can load in all different kinds of VST3s there. Now let's play around with pitch it down. So a nice lush style of ambient. Now let's get a little of this low pass. Now that we pitched it down 2 octaves, just about disappeared on us. We can try turning some of these off. And of course we can get a lot of nice distortion out of Neural Amp Modeler here. And I was watching some YouTube videos where some people were doing some very forensic type tests with oversampling and all that stuff. And in these tests I watched, phase cancellation, etc. The Neural Amp Modeler was actually outperforming these physical solutions like Kempler or Tone X, Quattro, another one's Quattro something or the other. And this one actually did better in these tests So for a freebie, it's quite amazing, but it's not just for guitars. You can, of course, run synthesizers. You can run anything through it that you want to warm up, make it sound a little more lo-fi, or just add some saturation. Couldn't recommend Neural Amp Modeler more. It's got a great community, and they're adding new amp models constantly. So, all right, I think that about sums it up for this one. Enjoy these new audio effects, Max for Live plugins, and hopefully I'll get to play with them more in some videos, hopefully sooner than 3 weeks from now. And until then, happy sketching.